Greetings, friends. I'm doing this impromptu media drop, really in answer to a whole lot of questions which are coming through to me on social media, and my phone is being pinged non-stop last few days asking, have I died? Have I been ejected off planet, absconded into a underground alien military base, or worse? And the short answer is no, none of the above. The fact of the matter is, I'm somewhat slowing down social media engagement, not least because of the deplatforming, which hasn't helped a great deal, but quite frankly, because my workload is right now insane. I've mentioned and made mention recently that I've been working on some spectacular stuff which is launching this year in 2026, which it is, and it's all happening. Really, Q1, Q2 are the most important window. Q3 is going to be stratospheric, and Q4 is going to be trying to keep up with what we've unleashed, essentially. So I've studied the numbers and the movement of the sun, moon, and stars, and I'm pretty clear in my own mind about what's happening and how unbearably perfect it all is, one way or the other. Having said that, I'm also speaking to everyone in my circle, in my life, and I understand that we are all variously going through the most extraordinary changes and shifts at the personal, interpersonal, and at the collective level. So, what to say? It is our choice point. This is the year of choice point between the Adamite, or the resurrection and restoration of the angelic indigo human beings, the organic, sentient sons and daughters of God, or the other, and the other involves dispossession and the synthetic, and the ones who have chosen to take the wrong fork, or the left fork in the road, so to speak. So each of us know variously what I'm talking about, and we're seeing that play out with family. We're seeing that play out at the macro level, and how this extraordinary bifurcation is taking place planetarily, and the separation of the wheat from the chaff is underway in that sense, and a very, very necessary and needful alchemization process, this ultimate transmutation of the base metal frequencies, so to speak, into the philosopher's stone, into the ormus, into the fifth element. And so here we are, those of us who are variously unified in our plasma projection, our imagineering, our consciousness in action, those of us who are choosing the living principle over doctrine and dogma and spectacle and what have you. We're the tribe. We're the ones who are finding each other in this space. Just to let you know, definitively, I'm not touring. I'm no longer touring. I've stopped touring, and I will not be touring. I'm going to be increasingly withdrawing from social media at this time. Not immediately. It won't be a cold kill. I'll continue to do whatever I can on my Instagram channel here. If you want to stay in touch with me, I'll continue to drop some little reports every week or two. I'll try to do this little update piece. And then I will invite you also to sign up to the New Earth Horizon, or to sachastone.com, so that you get invited into the pulse reports and the broadcast that I do to the New Earth community, because that's really where I'm focused on extending my voice and not influence, but my dispensation of whatever the fuck it is I'm dispensing. So that I suggest that if anything to do with me, or the International Tribunal for Natural Justice, or the World Hereditary Council, or the New Earth University, or the New Earth Sovereignty Academy, or the New Earth anything, or Sacha Stone anything, please do go to sachastone.com, sign up, or to newearthhorizon.com and sign up, and then stay on top with the Pulse Report. Okay, that said, I have got some speaking engagements, and they're pretty good ones. I'm doing the 3 big expos from what I can see. But we're unveiling this year our own technology stuff. Okay, that's happening. That's happening. That is happening. We're doing it this year, not next year, this year. I've created sufficient protections for it. And no, I'm not worried about a fucking Charlie Kirk bullet. As you know, my audience, I was supposed to be on stage with him 3 or 4 weeks after he was shot. I had a gig. That's why I was in the US. I was actually waiting for the gig in Santa Barbara. I was greatly looking forward to it. He got popped, or did he? And then the rest of it, we all know what's happening right now in the United States. The most extraordinary psycho-cultural, geopolitical, socioeconomic meltdown is occurring. Today's a good day. For those of you who bought silver recently, you'll know that overnight you became very wealthy. So extraordinary volatility happening in the global markets. I'm going to speak to this stuff as well. I'm no expert, but I am an expert, if you know what I mean. This morning alone, and yeah, I'm wearing my pajamas right now, okay? But this morning, I hosted a meeting at midday with white hats, put it this way. If A1, M1, and these monikers mean anything to you, people in the intelligence community know exactly what I'm talking about. I hosted a meeting today of white hats from Asia, North America, and Africa. There were 17 people, I believe, on the platform. I've been looking forward to this for some years. This was the first time I brought these integral figures together who are variously involved with the clearancing of literally trillions and trillions of dollars. So my feeling for many years has been that it is vital that we start to bring these archetypal figures together. Military, intelligence, banking, but at the kind of off-ledger, grey screens, black screen level I'm talking about. To those of you who know what I'm referring to, it's the very abstract legacy stuff, the hereditary redemptions. It's way beyond CIA at this level. Bottom line is, I know many of the players. I've interacted with many of the players over many, many years. I've been invited variously. In some cases, I've been commanded to be present at certain. Yourself, I don't get commanded. The living man doesn't get commanded. But I've ended up ultimately meeting and being received by many of these figures. I don't want to sound too esoteric here, but I'm just trying to emphasize the point that you're seeing a very excited individual right now. Excited because it truly is coming down to the wire. The movement that is happening, and it's not volatility markets or quantitative easing. That's part of it. There's actually a switch over, a handover, a shift point is upon us at a level that you can barely imagine. So this month into June, forgive me, I'm so sorry, where are we? We're January. January, it says 13th. We're January the 13th, moving into February, into middle of February. The world is not going to be the same again as we move into the second quarter of this year. And yeah, Khazarian mafiosi and the attempts to foment World War III and all the rest of it, yes, and the Donald Trump, moving into Venezuela is the greatest betrayal to the global compact and international law, right? Well, the reason why I'm being crass about it is because, love or hate him, and I happen to love him, Donald Trump has done exactly the right thing. And if you're still a woke liberal intellectual, don't even bother to pull out your pea shooter from your bikini. It's not going to make a jot's worth of difference to me. Just get out, get off my radar screen. I have less than 0 percentile interest in conducting liberal, woke, intellectual conversations. Not about law, not about education, not about socioeconomics, not about anything. You are no longer qualified to speak, you people. All right, so get out, get thee behind me, Satan. Satan dressed up very nicely. I'll add. Liberal intellectual wokeism is as cute as it gets. Very cultivated, very educated, saturated with such false light that you just can't pronounce your own names. So that said, Trump is dismantling right now, and this is part of my little report, incidentally. Trump is dismantling and disassembling, bringing into dissolution the satanic infrastructure, which hitherto has been masquerading as international law, as international treaties and conventions. Do you understand? That's what's been taking place. Donald Trump is singularly destroying it because that was never law, certainly not God's law. Those statutes, which became treaties, agreements, contracts, compacts, the United Nations, all of that stuff variously construed into the artifice of international treaties and international law, like the International Criminal Court, the ICC, and the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. Well, what the fuck are these entities if not the two horns of the devil? Why did I set up the International Tribunal for Natural Justice in 2015, 10 years ago, and almost get popped 2 or 3 times along the way? And then the Westminster seedings in 2018 into human trafficking and child sex abuse. And then in with secretaries of state and some of the most powerful people in policing and intelligence and criminology coming in to Westminster to give testimony in our court. Why? Why did the mainstream media then vilify us? Hashtag fuck the British Empire. Right? Thank you, BBC. Thank you, Daily Mail. You utter rank and file pieces of shit. Excuse my language. But I'm delighted that now the world can see it. The whole world can see it. The shit we went through in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, what I personally went through, hiding, cowering in a safe house and still being found, okay? And then being cornered by the police and the establishment. Having special operatives come to me and tell me, we've got your back. You're in dangerous territory, but you've got your back. Balaclava guys come to kill me at 2 o'clock in the morning, my fucking house, right? Intercepted by these special ops guys. Thank you, guys. You know exactly who you are. Okay? All these years later. In any event, there are reasons why, friends, I support Donald J. Trump. There are reasons why I know what I know. Unfortunately, we cannot always say everything all at the same time. Oh, I wonder why I've been taken off Facebook in the last few weeks and why I've been wiped out of my personal profiles. I can't speak. I've spoken way too much about too much already. Point being, I will be speaking in my private capacity, which I do on my tours, which are now finished, and on my private talks in auditoriums or whatever, or in my private retreats. I will speak unfettered and unfiltered. So the Geometry of Revelation will be in the afternoon on July the 7th, that gig in Mount Shasta that Jonathan at Awaken Within the Dream Productions is designing. It's called The Atlantean Betrayal. The morning session, the afternoon session will be the full Geometry of Revelation, unveiling the Alpha Omega New Earth Blueprint. And that takes me from February 20th at the Conscious Life Expo in the United States all the way to July 20th, okay? And then I'm done, out, kaput, done. And then essentially the full gamut has been put out there. I've delivered my payload, and then just building the new earth, establishing the jurisdictions, the micronations, releasing the technologies and beyond, friends. It's not just hard technologies. We're talking about genetic and biotech, okay, and organic biotech, biodynamic biotech that I am not allowed to speak about. That's the final stuff that I have been prohibited from putting into the public domain, but anyone's got a brain cell, you'll be able to work out what I'm talking about, okay? Put it this way, med beds will soon be a thing of the past. We're about to take a quantum leap forward in the coming few short years. I said this in the last 2 years, 3 years. I said, if you can stay alive for the next 3 years, you will be living for 300 years plus. I can now categorically state with absolute certainty that that is the case, my friends. So I will leave you on that high note, and I would thank you for your temperance and forbearance listening to my gibbering here. Friends, thank you for your time. Have a most blessed day. Bye now.